Hey, Sam here, and I'm back to do another full workout in Zone Gym. And today it's leg day, so it's going to be really punishing, and it's mostly going to be on quads. I was splitting up quads and hamstrings into separate workouts, but in the whole week-to-week process, I realised I was getting more volume for the whole lot by just putting it together and doing a leg workout every 3 workouts. So it's legs all together, but it's starting with quads, as that's more of a weakness, looking at the outer sweep in the quads, the vastus lateralis. And I'm starting with a hack squat. So my main exercise last off season was barbell squats, and I actually made less progress with it than the 6 months block that I did before that, where I was using the hack squat. And I think it's because of my height. I get much more knee flexion out of a hack squat than how I do with a barbell squat, where it's mostly my glutes working to balance the whole thing. It's using muscles all over the place, so I'm getting more work on the quads and from greater knee flexion with the hack squat. So that's my primary exercise. We'll move on from there. Once we've done all the quad focus moves, move on to hamstrings and then see what I've got left at the end. But definitely the hardest of all the workouts if you do legs properly, and we're going to work hard today. We're going to warm up, load up, and catch you in a minute. So I'm starting this today with 5 plates on each side, so that's 200 kilos in total, plus whatever the carriage weighs. It's not the heaviest of hack squats, this machine, but this is still going to be fairly challenging for me because I'm using a slightly different foot position to the neutral. To get more of a focus on the outer part of my quadriceps, I'm going to put my feet right at the end here on the block. I'm going to put the heels together and the toes slightly outwards, and that's going to put more of the emphasis on the outer side of the quad. So it's a little bit less than I could lift if I had the feet straight, but it's what's needed in the development of my legs at the moment, so it's what I'm doing. So I just get in position here and go for set 1. Let's do this. Get my breath back. Now, I was feeling okay like that, so I'm going to go ahead and add another 10 to each side. So that's almost all this baby will hold. That'll give us 220 in total. So 12 reps last time. That was the failure. We'll see what we can manage here. Got the heels together again, so it is a little bit more awkward. I'm still getting used to this variation. If you keep doing the same, you'll be stuck with the same results, so something's got to change. So I've just dropped down a little bit. I've taken it down to 4 plates each side because I've got 8 reps on my last set, and I don't tend to go below 8 reps in any of my working sets. Just have a little bit more cyclic dextrin. Good to go. Okay, set 3, hack squats. This leg stuff is my priority training stuff for the kind of changes that I want to make. Remember that when the set's getting tough. You know, I'll never get on with rubberized weights. There's something about the hard iron rattling that I much prefer. Don't know why. It's what I'm used to, I guess. Moving on from the hack squats, we're now going to take a look at leg extensions. So this is more of a quadriceps isolation movement, and I normally do all my compounds first, but I like to put these early on in the workout for quads because I'm focusing on them. It pre-exhausts them a little bit, so I have to set the seat all the way back to get my knees in line with the joint of this, and put the foot pad down. We're going to be a bit higher reps, in my hack squats there. So I'm going completely to failure, but I can put the weight up a little bit. Getting more than 20 there, I can definitely put the weight up a little bit. Well, it's more than last time, so it's the kind of progression we want to see. No matter how you do it, I always find that these isolations are just easier than your heavy compounds. Always found that for the whole body, but even more so on legs. Don't need too much rest there. Get on with it. Don't know how much this weighs. It's on notch 7 on the machine, but I don't know what that is in weight. 20 again anyway. These are no joke today. Right, fourth and final set, but this one I'm going to make a drop set. So I'm going to take about half the stack that I've got on for the first part and go again straight away. It's with drop sets when you're training on your own. It's one of the ways that machines really come into their own. It's so much quicker to change than hopping off and switching plates around by yourself. So when you're training on your own, that is something where machines are really helpful. So why not today? So I'm going properly to failure on the first part. Set 1, drop with no rest. It's gone from 7 peg down to 4 on the pegs. That's all we got. Right, now I'm going to hit up some leg presses, and today I'm using the horizontal leg press, which I can feel a little bit more in my quads because it's just easier to slip your feet around during the set to where your foot position puts it more on the quad. So I can just feel that more on this exercise. So I sometimes choose this one when I've done my pre-exhaust on the extensions. So nothing too heavy on the first set. Set 1 leg presses. And this is my exercise one. Keep the feet fairly low on the pad and closer together. With this one I like to pyramid up, so that was my high rep set. Now I'm going to go up to 340. And again, with the stack right next to me and the pin just by my hand, it's a great one for a drop set when I'm feeling a drop set. It's easier on my own than the free weights. It's a technique that I like. When I think about it, things like forced reps, drop sets, kind of the same thing, in that you're trying to do the same movement, the same range, but you're taking some resistance off it, either by taking weight off on the bar or the stack, or resistance and weight being taken off by your training partner helping along, forcing extra. It's doing the same thing, but I like it. I like training on my own anyway, But I like it with a drop set more than force reps, because then I actually know what I've dropped to, as I can't tell from a partner doing force reps how much force they were using, and therefore how much resistance they'd taken away when I got into the second or third part of the set. So drop sets I like. It's easier to note the progression. Stop babbling here and get on with set 2. This is almost a whole lot. Take a little bit more of a rest this time. Yeah, I do like this one for a pyramid. I'm going to put it up to the full stack now. It's actually nothing to write home about. Like, I just like the angle on this machine after I've done leg extensions when I'm focusing on quads, but like super strong actual quadzillas out there wouldn't have a use for this thing, and I think it'd be more your free weights, more your usual, your typical diagonal leg press on a sled where you got 4 rails on it, or 5, even with the vertical one to really load up. But I like this angle, and I'm not so strong that it's useless for me on this machine, so I use it. And that's the wrap for the leg presses today. So last exercise I'm going to look at today is sissy squats. Don't see many people do these. I think it's maybe that they don't know about this little device. You can do it holding a weight, but because I'm doing it as my last quads exercise, after all that, it's going to be quite enough with my obese off-season body weight and no plates, I think. Yeah, whoa, that's quite enough for 10 reps. Now, as I say, it's my last exercise focusing on quadriceps, and I'll move on to hamstrings, but this particular exercise puts most of the emphasis on the rectus femoris in the quadriceps. So that's, you got the teardrop here, that's the vastus medialis. You got the outer sweep here, that's the vastus lateralis, and in the middle you got this bit that splits into 2 parts that when you're shredded and sliced it kind of looks like the feather on the New Zealand flag or something. It's that bit, that's the rectus femoris. You just sort of feel it in the middle of your quads rather than near your knees like you do with the teardrop bit. You feel it in the middle with this exercise. And it's not one for going heavy, so it's normally one that I do at the end of my my quad session. And get my breath back, go for a second set. You have to really make sure the paddle back is near the top of your calves, but not over the knee joint at the back. Just a tiny bit around the knee joint, relaxing nicely. And this foot lock place far enough back to keep you in. Maybe I should just get on with it. Hamstrings. Oh God. It's another one where you get major knee flexion, which is really working your quads real good. Okay, let's go again. No reason why I moved it other than to show you a bit more of the gym. Such a good gym, this. And then it turns out there was a benefit, so I was able to rescue myself with the donkey calf raise machine to not fall over and have to dig myself out of that sissy squat thing. Yeah, we'll call it a day for those. Move on to hamstrings. Right. When I'm not doing every hamstrings exercise under the sun, usually my priority and my favourite one is the seated because it really locks you in. So I know my settings for this, so I'll just quickly set it up. It's nice when you're always in the same gym. You familiarise yourself with the equipment and then straight in, ready to go. That was good. I've always got on better with these than various straight leg deadlifts and that kind of thing for hamstrings, although another time I'll have to show you the vertical leg press. The stretch you get in hamstrings with the vertical leg press is awesome, but you don't see it many places, but we got it here. We got it here at Zone. And if I'd done less compounds focusing on the quads, it might have been an option today, but I definitely want for another time now. I'm going to put that up. I'm going to set to seated hamstring curls. Let's go. That was one off the full stack on here, which that's my 5th exercise in. That's pretty hard for me. I shan't be putting it up any further than that. Yeah, it's 12 reps, but I don't go much lower than that for legs. So I lean towards slightly higher reps on lower body than upper body. I'm only go a little bit heavier on my first 1 or 2 exercises like today, but this kind of thing, keeping higher reps. I don't think we need another camera angle for this. It's fairly self-explanatory. I just need to get on with it. Nearly done with this workout. I feel so satisfied after a leg workout. Like getting hyped up for it and then totally exhausted. Training is definitely the heart and soul of bodybuilding. And then nutrition is the building blocks, and a bunch of other shit is the instructions. Suffers. It's crippling stuff doing legs properly. Thanks for watching. As usual, I like to take a few minutes just to calm myself down before I go and get my post-workout meal. Just take a moment to reflect on what I worked hardest on and what could be better, and which particular things I was better in to stay positive for the next workout. I always just like to take a moment to do that before I move on with my day, because training's always the highlight of my day, honestly. Like, I give everything to these workouts, and that's what makes me feel so good afterwards. And I feel like you're really missing out if you don't give everything to these workouts when you get in there. Even if you didn't want to go to start with, by the time you get in here and you give it everything, you feel amazing afterwards. So I'm just kind of like taking a moment to appreciate that after my workout and settle myself back in, and a bit of reflection. And that was a good session. It was a good session. I do particularly find the hard work of legs is great. And some of you may be wondering why I didn't do calves. There is a reason for that. It's because legs being the heaviest weights typically and the hardest workouts typically, if you do calves, you're probably going to do them at the end so that you're not unstable on squat motions. But that means that every time calves is in your routine, it's when you're already exhausted from the hardest bit of your whole week or your whole training cycle, however many days that is. So I feel like for calves to get done properly, they should be tacked onto an easier day, like say you do shoulders then calves, and not at the end of the leg day every time, or they're always going to lag behind and never get hit full force. So what I do is I pop in just on separate occasions, 2 or 3 times a week to do calves on their own. So that'll be a separate workout. I don't let them lag behind, being an afterthought after every leg day like this in my split. So that's why there's no calves today. That's why that was the whole leg workout. And other days it's a little bit more hamstring focused. Today was a bit more quads, and that is priority at the minute. And hopefully you picked up something from this. If you enjoy the advice in these workouts, consider subscribing. I'll take any questions in the comments. Let me know you subscribed and I'll get back to you and answer any of your questions, either there or in one of my Q&A videos. And cheers. Train hard.